What is it that annoys you and others I've spoken to about what's the name of that film, Soul Man?
Oh.
Am I getting into a can of worms or peas? I really want to know.
Okay, for people who don't know about Soul Man, the premise is that you have this rich kid whose father's a millionaire and refuses to pay his way through Harvard Law School.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a black scholarship. So the only way he can get into Harvard Law School is to take a pill that's a suntan pill and put on an afro wig, and he gets admitted as a black student.
Passes himself off as a minority.
And it looks phony. There's no way in the world to see how Thomas looks black.
Yeah.
And to me, it's really an attack on affirmative action. And when I was out in LA promoting the film, I said that Ray Don Chong's card from the Sisterhood should be revoked. And the producer, Stephen Tisch, called me up and started getting nasty about it, saying, had I seen the film? I said, no, I didn't have to see it. I mean, that's the premise of the film. And to me, I don't see why Ray did. I was really surprised that James Earl Jones was a part of that. I was really surprised.
But you haven't seen it?
I'm not going to see it either.
Wasn't that like the people who condemn Tom Sawyer for
not
having
really,
read it?
because I've seen clips
of
the film, and if the whole premise is that he's passing as black, and it's so phony, that means all the black people in the movie are idiots to think that this guy, they could believe that he's black.
Yeah. Maybe they cast idiot black people. I'm trying to be nice to. I do see the problem. Now, are you saying that nobody could make a film in which a black man? What I really want to know is, are you bothered by the premise, or is it that it's executed badly?
I think it's a combination of both. They're trying to pass off as attack on racism. I really don't see it like that, and it's not funny to me.
There we go. It's not funny, Dave.
Well, what's really funny though, because I think it's one of them things where I think sometimes if you do just see a clip, because we'll probably go into it loads, but I genuinely think it's not a racist film. I don't know anybody who watched it from start to finish could think it was, but if you just see clips out of context, it looks really bad.
It does, yeah. If you look at the dinner scene later on, where each member of the white family imagines what they're seeing, and it goes from Prince to a sex slave to a bloody stereotype with watermelon.
Well, what I always think is funny though, and even in the 80s, and especially now though, stuff that I would think, oh, it's dead offensive and stereotypes, like is really celebrated and people don't complain about. And then loads of like rap songs and stuff like that, they can talk about like, like being gangsters or doing dodgy stuff, and everybody's, oh, that's great. And then you get like a film like Short Circuit where, a film like Soul Man, and it's like to me, it's basically an advert about not being racist. And no, it's like the most racist film ever made. It's like, how did that happen?
Yes, if you've seen it, you'll know it's not bad. It's well-meaning, exactly as Fran says. He saw it last night, but he's got a good point. Yeah, I will admit, 100%, he does not make a good black guy. See Thomas Howell, it's a very unconvincing look.
Well, I think it's funny, I just prudently said Short Circuit but the one thing I think is really funny about, say, the difference between Soul Man and Short Circuit, I think for years, hardly anybody knew Fisher Stevens was like, not, wherever country's supposed to be from.
Yes.
And then even I think like people like, oh, where's that Asian actor like Fisher Stevens? It was like,
he was very convincing.
I think there was even like an urban legend that like in India, the people thought he was like a famous Bollywood actor. It was like, oh, what is that Bollywood actor in like Short Circuit? Like, oh, it's not him, it's somebody else.
Yeah, because what does he turn up in normal?
Well, when he's in Columbo though as well, it took me so long to click in. I was like, why is that guy familiar? And the one that really did surprise me was when Pat Morita turns up in an episode of Columbo. I was like, I was like, what? I was like, it just completely caught me off guard as a kid. I've got 8 pages of notes, so I'll have
well, let's crack on and start the film, because it's not that long a film. Right. Let's engage.
Just started my VHS as well, so...
mine's gone to sleep. How much proud? Right. Here we go. So, who's in the house? Welcome to the Forbidden 80s. Yes, contraband film. Here they go from New World Pictures. So
I love
yes,
as well.
this
I don't
film
know if you can see
has
it on your VHS, but like I love it. You can tell it's been captured in the frames, slightly shaking, like kind of thing.
yes, this film has major blackface from about 20 minutes in. The strap in says, "Yeah, Andy's here. Welcome, Andy. Why are people watching this? Watched this last night. So we got on the scene where he gets beaten up by the racists in the jail cell, and the end word is dropped. Yeah, because it's a fun movie.
Well, that's one thing though, as a kid, because like it's funny looking at the VHS box. It's a 15, but when I went to see this at the cinema, I'm sure it was a PG.
I don't think I saw it in the cinema.
But even that's a funny thing though as well. I always think it's really interesting when there's films that are supposedly like flops or nobody likes, and nearly everybody I know has seen this movie, and like something like Avatar is supposed to be like the most successful movie ever made. I know like 2 people that have seen it.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen's in this, which was a shock to me when I looked at it as well. But he's barely in it.
I'll just say there, well, he said musical score by Tom Scott, but I'll never forget seeing an early poster for Fletch, and it said music by Tom Scott. And so for years and years later, I always thought the music for Fletch was by Tom Scott. And I was like, God, it sounds a lot like Howell Fulton to me. And then it's like, oh, it wasn't.
So yes, premise of this is rich white kid gets accepted to Harvard, but his dad cuts him off money-wise. So he blacks up to get into college and, what does it call it?
Oh, scholarship.
Scholarship as a black student. But then he learns the errors of his ways.
This was a thing that I kind of almost completely forgot about. But when he's got the rack full of tennis balls to switch the stereo on, but that happens in Ferris Bueller. But I was thinking,
yes, people have mentioned that.
Was that a thing in the 80s? Did people, which says they're written by Carol Black as well.
Yes.
A
bit of an
interesting surname. But not just doing
heart.
that. Tons of, she'd done tons and tons of like TV stuff and created loads of shows and that. And that was another thing as well. Clicking on people's names on IMDb. Loads of them were either still working or they'd done tons of stuff. But the one thing that really did throw me was it said security and got a person's name. I clicked on it. He was the truck driver for the start of Terminator 1, the bin lorry driver. I was like, wow, he's a security guy on the set of Soul Man. So my career.
Yeah, it's got a good soundtrack though. But yes, it's 12 p.m. and he's obviously a student then, just getting up.
And that's one thing as well, that blog poster on the wall there, I was a big old monster movie fan, even when I was a kid. And I do not remember that Soul Man poster being there at all. I was like a brand, like, when people the Mandela effect and stuff. I was there always been a blob. That to me, that scene there is aged worse than the rest of the film when it's like looking under it just feels like that's like, oh, it's like.
Yeah, not supposed to like this guy. He's waking up with a lady he doesn't know.
But even that's a really clever scene in a way that, like, you think, oh, they must know each other's name at least. And he's like, when it says introduction, he introduces himself. That's quite funny. I mean, I think C. Thomas Howell's an interesting actor, though. And I feel like when if you say to people who were really big actors from the 80s, people will say, I don't know, like Ralph Macchio or Matthew Broderick and things like that. But you think with C. Thomas Howell, he was in like E.T., The Hitcher, and like.
Oh, yeah. And The Hitcher, too.
Well, it's also funny about The Hitcher too, because even though I've got that on VHS, I'm like, is that a film that exists? And I saw this today. His friend's shirt is like, it looks like 3D at the moment. It looks like.
But yes, Ralph Macchio was also up for this role, among other young actors at the time. So some of them obviously dodged a bullet. We didn't get a Soul Man Legacy TV show.
I think even that's interesting because I don't know why. I always think there was like a TV show, but even weirdly, was there a TV show of Ferris Bueller that like?
Yes,
like,
I never saw.
Yeah, I never even was aware of that.
And Weird Science and everything other else that I never saw at the time. Too busy with sluts. Right. Yeah, Spike Lee wasn't a fan of the clips he saw, so shows you people that have just get the premise get very upset by this film.
I think there's so many things though that like I think like literally damned if you don't, damned if you do. That I feel like that sort of this concept for a film. I say I don't think it's because I've seen it. Well, actually, I saw it 3 times at the cinema, which might be a world record for seeing this film at the cinema. I don't know.
Yes.
But,
You
but
got the tickets.
I don't know if I've seen this film so many times as a kid. But to me, it was never thought to me about it being racist. And now, like I say, like we said it like 5-6 times already. But like to me, that it's like now to consider this like super racist film. And I almost get warnings on some films though, even if I don't like the warning being there. Like if there's a warning at the start of the Damn Busters or something like that, because it said the N word like 20 times in it. But I don't know how a film that is literally in its whole DNA is to be not racist. Anybody who is racist in this film is a character you don't like. It's got people like James Earl Jones in it, where.
You don't think James Earl Jones is going to pick a racist film, do you? Even if he needs the cash.
So it's like, and especially that, like in the 80s, he was literally Darth Vader. He didn't need the money.
But yes, we got the usual frat parties. And was it Julia Dreyfus? What's her name?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah,
Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld.
Isn't she from a rich family, billionaire family, before she did acting?
Oh, wow, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Before she got Seinfeld money.
I know Holly Valance from Neighbours. I think she married a billionaire and then just completely quit showbiz.
But yeah, so no one thought this was a bad idea. But will it read the? It's hilarious, beautifully timed, razor sharp humor from Today paper, sensational music, which that is true from the Daily Mirror. Witty, says the Sunday Times. Refreshing, the Sunday Telegraph. Very funny, says the Mail on Sunday. So we'll see if we can get them to comment later on about this.
Oh, don't just know those reviewers hate saying that now. And that's one thing as well. I feel like it'll probably be my undoing, but I feel like I can't not be faithful to things like this. Like some people I know now would never admit to seeing this and stuff like that. But if there's something I'm really passionate about, even when I was a kid, if I think that it's got merit, I'll have to stick up for it. I could never say, oh, I don't like this film or I don't like Short Circuits, because I just feel like I was such a liar to myself.
Yeah, I rented this many times back as a child. Like you said, I didn't pick up on anything.
I'll just say it quickly while it was on screen, but the guy, his dad working out, is wearing a Fila tracksuit. And anytime, I only noticed it the other day, anytime you see somebody in workout clothes, it's Fila. So I don't know if it was really popular at the time or they just, it was just product placement or something.
Yeah, the great James B. Syking in so many things. Reagan would have got first viewing. I remember seeing this on the BBC many years ago. Yes, I don't think the BBC have been showing it recently.
Oh, that's what I talk about Ronald Reagan, though. When I was watching this the other day for research, I noticed it said Ron Reagan in the credits. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But it's actually Ronald Reagan's son. I think
someone said that and I missed it.
I was like, that just completely, bit of trivia completely passed me by. It's a nice shot there, though, where the camera's actually upside down. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that works. It's got Steve Miner, what did he do? Lake Placid and Friday the 13th, yeah.
2 and 3, yeah.
His mate reminds me of Martin Short. That's, what's his name? The mate? Air Gross.
That's true. Excuse me.
But yeah, I think, there it is. Reagan would have done that one. Yeah. I kind of want to like it more, but because it's risque. But yeah, it's pretty average as a comedy. There's not many laughs as such.
Well, just finish to say that, though, because there's certain lines in this, though. I think, like obviously Leslie Nielsen's in this, and you could never compare it to like Airplane and stuff like that. But I think some of the jokes, though, are quite subtle and underplayed. Like when he's playing basketball and he gets the basketball stuck in the baseball hoop thing, and he turns around and he's just laughing because he says he's thinking of rubbish at it and stuff. And I don't know what words we can say in this stream, but when they move into the new flat and he says nobody told me Mark was a black N-word, and he goes and he acts like he's really shocked, like he's never been told that before. And it's just the way they keep saying it over and over again. It's just I don't know, it's kind of and the way one point where his friend stirs a cup of coffee with a banana, and it's just it's proper surreal.
It's weird stuff happening, sure. Because was he able to miraculously transform from black to white and wins the scholarship? But that's when his real big problems begin. But apparently, He married and then later divorced Ray Don Chong in real life.
But what's funny though, this is what's funny about this though, because like I like say will defend this film like forever, but Ray Dawn Chong I always think it's dead funny because I always think, oh, she wanted on this film if she thought it was racist. But then she says a line on the making of Commando that like saying about, oh, we shot all these people, and she says what colour they were and everything. But the way she phrases it just comes across as like super racist. I'm like, maybe she is racist. It's not enough. You can say maybe somebody's racist.
Well, there probably were a lot of white stuntmen in blackface.
But that's one thing, though, as well. I've never really understood, for the most part, why blacking up was even a thing anyway. Because sometimes, like, there's a Carry On film where there's like about 15 Chinese people in it, and they look like really Chinese. I know that sounds bad out of context, but then, and I've seen loads of films from like the 20s and 30s with real, like, foreigners or black people and stuff. And I think, well, if they were doing that like in the 30s and 40s, why would you ever need like somebody that wasn't really that colour? It just seems like, and that's nothing though as well. Even my group of friends when we were growing up, it's only more recently that I hear people constantly referring to like where somebody's from or what colour they are. Like when I was growing up, it's like if you watch like a Bruce Lee film, it's like, there's Bruce Lee. It wasn't like, oh, there's a Chinese guy. Or watching like Eddie Murphy, it wasn't like, oh, he's black. It's just like, there's Eddie Murphy. And anybody I say that to, I always feel like I'm lying. That like, or you're telling me you and your friends weren't racist. It was like, I don't think so. And even the N-word though, I would literally, if somebody said to me, because I'm quite, live and let live as long as people aren't hurting anybody, I don't mind. But if somebody said, sign a piece of paper so nobody could say the N-word ever again, I'd be, okay. I never want to say that word, so no. I don't know why. Like, there's this big thing about like saying it, because like it always kind of makes me laugh when you watch like a rap music video and you're saying it. Well, actually, I've been saying this to everybody who will listen the last couple of weeks. But McDonald's have been doing a promotion, the British rapper named Stormzy, and it's sad as it is to say, I'm a big McDonald's fanboy. Like, I love, like, when McDonald's have got some kind of gimmick burger or some kind of silly Happy Meal toy or something like that. I was like, I was interested they're doing this promotion with this rapper Stormzy, but I didn't know anything about him really because, I like rap music for some reason. He's completely passed me by. So I put three of his songs on, and all of them say the N-word over and over and over again. I'm like, McDonald's are doing a promotion with this rapper that say the N-word, and it's not controversial. But something like Soul Man now, you can barely never show it on TV, and it's like living in like some kind of weird alternate universe. Like,
but yes, in that Dick Cavett interview earlier, they do mention "Fight for Your Life" from 1977, which is worse than this. Not that I've seen it. Oh, he would have been better than Eric Stoltz. Ooh. The scene with the dad reminded you of The Graduate. I haven't seen that for a long time either.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I've only seen that film once, which once or twice. Yeah, that guy's got a feeler jacket on.
So we got the dad from Alf as the psychiatrist that persuaded C. Thomas Howell dad to cut him off because the psychiatrist's son is a freeloader as well.
But even talk about stuff from the 80s that like I feel doesn't get referenced sometimes, that like them little hand grip things what he's using for like exercise hands. I felt like they were massive in the 80s. And I never see them like on all these like retro channels or anybody trying to recreate the 80s. It's like as if they never existed, but I felt like every single person had some.
Oh, yes. But yes, this is a rip-off of Tootsie, because where he dresses up as a woman to get a job, this guy changes his race to get into Harvard. So it pretty much is the same.
And look, even in the 80s, though, look at how those two films were like Tootsie won Oscars and everything and stuff like that. And
I don't know if Tootsie's been on TV any time recently, but
that's another thing, though, talk about stuff like that, though, because I even feel like Gandhi, like when Ben Kingsley took for Gandhi, and it was like, it's amazing, here have Oscars, and Fisher Stevens or C. Thomas Howell does it for these, and they're like, ooh, boo.
Well, I think Kingsley is like 1/8 Indian or something, so he's allowed the pass, I think. Oh
no, that's well. I always remember that Johnny Depp when he played Tonto in the Lone Ranger remake.
Oh yeah,
he was like 1/10 Cherokee or something, so he was like,
I'm allowed to.
He's allowed,
As a kid, I don't think it helped me not to be racist, which is the message of the film. Yes, there's a message through the whole film that this guy learns that He's white privilege, of course, of all things, and how he gets to see this world from another view, and then he learns to become a better person and help the world in the end. So as long as he keep it up.
Well, even that term white privilege, though, I always felt like that was like such a nonsense term, because like I grew up in like council estates and stuff, and I knew so many white people that had really hard lives and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's loads of black people and Chinese people that have had it bad for whatever reason, but I just thought, well, it's got nothing to do with where you're from. You've had a decent upbringing or you haven't, kind of thing. On all my friends at school, I don't know if I said it in the chat before on the last live stream that I did, but all my friends at school were their quote weird ones. Like one of my friends had big ears, he got picked all the time. Another one of my friends had ginger hair, he got teased for that. I had glasses, I got picked for that. One of my friends
there's always
had
something you can pick on, isn't there?
Yeah, so literally all my friends at school were like, and we were all white, and it was like, we were always like, oh, this and that, and kind of thing.
But so Fight for Life is the same as this. Noble intentions, but misunderstood. But yes, there is early 80s, had other films with blackface, Gene Wilder in Silver Streak, and Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places.
So, of course, yeah.
But they're only quick roles, but Eddie Murphy hasn't come out. Well, Eddie Murphy was in that first Trading Places and Never Sending, and Richard Pryor, I'm sure, would have kicked off.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean,
if he was offended by it.
I think Richard Pryor, though, as well, he had such a great sense of humour that, like, obviously... we can't talk about the funny jokes in this film, then. Like when he doesn't realise it's his best mate and then he turns around and falls backwards off this pier. I mean, it's a great sequence with brilliant editing. And there's one thing as well, because I know you're a big fan of stunts and stuff, but there's some brilliant stunts in this movie, like a couple of like really cool like falls and stuff.
Yeah, there's some good stunts. This says there's a stunt coordinator, but it doesn't say if there's any stunt people.
Well, I think that I've noticed a few old 80s movies that say stunt people in the credits. Don't say stunt men or stunt women.
Sometimes they're uncredited. Let's have a look. But this is supposed to be a bit different, where he runs with his friend and the friend runs after his friend, and friend thinks he's going to get mugged, but they sort of cut that one out. Hey, Smokey. Who is the guy tonight with the glasses? Which one of us is wearing glasses? That's Dave. You may know him from the chat as Savoy.
But even
as I sometimes call you.
But even that's funny though as well, that because I've had that Savoy 1984 handle for such a long time that I always just assume people either A, know it's me, or know that so I just assume, when people see Savoy, and that's funny you should say Savoy, because the amount of times people say it wrong. Like, so I just assumed, because it was the name of the cinema I went as a kid, I thought everybody knew what Savoy was. But, how to say that word. It's a bit rich coming from me because my accent's all over the place and I pronounce it wrong all the time. But
it's my favourite hotel.
The amount of people that have said Savoy wrong over the years, it's been unbelievable.
But where are we at? About Fight for Your Life. Was this ever shown on British TV? I definitely remember it in the 80s.
Yeah, I was thinking about it being on TV, because I was thinking, I'm sure I would have taped it off TV if I'd seen it, but I don't. Because I've had this cinema club video for ages now.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if this is the only time I've ever owned it live. Oh, that's nothing as well, because I think the Soul Man song's playing here. But we're doing this commentary at the perfect time, really, because Sam Moore, who was one of the singers who did the
look at
that. I got this from a charity shop in Hereford about 10 years ago.
Shit.
And it was when no charity shops were stocking vinyl, and I saw
that's rare.
I nearly fell through the floor when I saw this. I was like, oh my god. But Sam Moore, he was on the title track, he only died last month, basically this day last month. I was like, wow, I thought, obviously I don't like thought people dying, but I thought he died years ago. And as well, I always assumed the song Soul Man was just written for this movie, but it's from 1967 or something.
Yes. Was it Sam and Dave and they hated each other?
Oh, did they really? Oh, no.
Yeah, they eventually hated each other. I don't know if they got back together. But there's a film called Soul Men, which has Samuel L. Jackson and Bernie Mac, about two old 60s singers who hated each other back in the day, and then they get paid for a reunion special and have to do a road trip to get there and to form a friendship again. And of course, there's a lot of MFs from Samuel L. Jackson in the film. It's probably funnier than this. But
I'm always amazed how many bands don't get on though. Like it's like kind of a unit. And I've heard a few stories recently of bands that've been going a long time. They literally don't see each other until they go on stage. They're literally in like separate hotel rooms, separate cars, and then they go on stage and just disappear. Like when they just,
yeah, I guess same with what was it with Richard Pryor and what's his name, Gene Wilder. They never socialized together. They only turned up on set.
That to me, that's like so sad because I always thought they were so good mates.
Yeah, I always thought, they must be great mates. Yeah.
The one that really, and it makes all the sense in the world, but the one I always kind of find it hard that they didn't get on was Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker. I mean, I know they don't go on in the movies, but when it's like, oh, Anthony Daniels hates Kenny Baker, it's like, oh. Yeah, that is that guy who says about Mark being a black, and the way he keeps saying it over and over again, I don't know why that's funny to me, but
yeah,
again,
so everyone's racist in this apartment. So they've got the landlord's racist, Leslie Nielsen's a racist.
Is this the only film where Leslie Nielsen's not a likable character?
Likeable?
Well, I was just thinking like that sort of, in Airplane, I think he comes across as basically a nice guy. Frank Drebin, I was thinking, the captain in.
Well, he's in Creepshow as a bad guy.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. I should have known that.
Yeah, they claim Mary Poppins is racist because the sweeper's faces are covered in soot. People working.
Well, it's funny to say that. Somebody I worked with about a year and a half ago, she was saying a favourite film was The Jungle Book, and she couldn't find it on Disney Plus. And somebody said, "Oh, have you not got the like adult setting on?" And you can only see The Jungle Book if you've got it like that you're 18, over 18. It's like.
But yeah, they've upgraded Mary Poppins from a U to a PG because of a word that hasn't been used for like 200 years.
I did always think though, and even though, like saying earlier on, that like I am like, I never forget was my friend called me a libertarian, and I was like, "What's that?" But like say, I always class myself as like say just being dead easy going. But I always thought the U certificate though was kind of BS years ago because like how A New Hope's got Obi-Wan cutting somebody's arm off, Snow White's terrifying, and
yes.
the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is got somebody big kill with a big knife like Michael Myers, and it's like. They shouldn't be used. Like they just shouldn't. Or like Darth Maul being cut off in the Phantom Menace.
Yes. So yeah, Short Circuit was the same year as this, and what was it Ferris Bueller's? I keep forgetting that, but it did do quite well. It's 36 of the year, so after Jumping Jack Flack, Hoosiers, and before Wildcats and The Great Master Detective. So not bad. It made its profits.
And I think said like with my username being Savoy. I say I got it from the cinema I used to go as a kid, but like I say because it was a one-screen cinema, and so when I went to see Soul Man, it was like I have no idea what it is. Went to see it. Then a couple of days later, went to cinema again. It was on again. I enjoyed it. Went to see it again. And, yeah. So it was like literally, I think the Savoy completely shaped me as a personality because I just went to see so many films just purely because they were on. It was like what's that? Or read a book or something. So I was like, oh, I won't do that.
Ah, yes. Thus, yeah. We got the body swaps as well from the 80s, like Jesse says. Vice versa. Like Father, Like Son, 18 Again and Big. I've only got 18 Again and Big on VHS. I don't own the other two, which is odd.
But another funny thing, then body swap films like came and went. I feel like very occasionally you get the odd one here and there, but it was like a proper little subgenre. And once it just boom came and just.
This was number 3 at the box office chart when it came out. Crocodile Dundee was number 1.
It's a pretty solid top 3 there, Andy. Well, those two that you mentioned.
Yeah, 2 singers that hated each other decades ago. That's enough about Oasis. But yeah, I wouldn't have put any money down on tickets because you might get it back. Or you won't get it back if they fall out again. So yeah, he is the least convincing black person. I will very much admit that, but you're supposed to see it through the cinema eyes of he's very.
Oh yeah, I've got to admit that it does not look very. But like you said, exactly what you just said. You're meant to just assume that it looks legit. And one of my friends always said this. I think this film wouldn't be controversial now if it was a black guy to start off with, but he whited up at the start,
yes.
And then he was just like
no identity with Eddie. What's his name? Lenny Henry.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so funny because like that, but that's one film though, and I don't know if I mentioned it in the chat or not. But anytime anybody mentions Lenny Henry, I nearly always think of he made a film called Lenny Live and Unleashed, And Robbie Coltrane plays a taxi driver at the start.
Ah.
Anytime I saw him on GoldenEye, on this video he did this morning, I just kept thinking, oh, there's a guy from Lenny Live and Unleashed.
Yeah. But yes, there we go. He's the great James Earl Jones has turned up.
I always thought these American classrooms were dead cool with the big, huge staircases, and like almost like arena seating kind of thing.
I think prior and working relationship, yeah, two different worlds. Yeah, I guess one's a writer, director, and one's a stand-up comedian and actor.
Well, I think as well, though, I think Richard Pryor, because he was like really into drugs and stuff once, and I think Gene Wilder was quite straight-laced, so I think it was. I think they got on, but I think they were just totally different people, like kind of thing. But what's funny as well, since seeing this film as a kid, I actually know one of my friends that I went to college with. He's a PhD, so it's like seems really incredible to me that I barely even knew what PhD meant when I saw this, let alone knowing people that would actually get like really. And that's nothing though as well. And I meant to say it earlier on, but I kind of forgot. To me, going college or university when I was growing up, the 2 or 3 people that I knew who went college, it was like you go college. Like, how so it says a lot about the social standing that I grew up in. But if I knew someone who went college, it was like, wow, like how'd you do that?
Yes. Oh, was it Gene Wilder had Richard Pryor fired from Blazing Saddles? Campaigned for him to get to Silver Street. Yeah, but because Richard Pryor co-wrote, didn't he, Blazing Saddles?
Yeah, some screenplay thing.
You can't watch old comedies on TV anymore without those patronizing, dated attitudes disclaimers at the start, or they just cut out everything.
Well, I'm amazed what scenes do and don't get into movies because obviously the scene where he stirs the drink with banana, that always stuck with me. The scenes that they do and don't cut out of movies. I don't know if I said this before in the chat or on the live stream before, but the one that always made me laugh, one of the last times Short Circuit was on Channel 4, probably about 6-7 years ago, there's a part where Steve Gutberg programs the robot arm to give Fisher Stevens the finger, and they cut that scene out of the film. But then in the credits, it shows you loads of scenes from the movie, and it was still in the credits. So
they always miss the one, don't they?
Yeah.
But yes, I was going to go method, but I've only got liquid face shoe polish, not the waxy one.
I was wondering though, like if when Jeff's live stream went down the other week, if you did do blackface, I wonder if the stream would have just got shut down.
Hang on, maybe I got a filter here I can use.
That actually really shocked me though when Jeff's live stream got taken down the other week, because I was just like, what's he done wrong? I was like, again, it shows my mindset. I just couldn't think of anything that anybody said in the chat or anything that had been on or anything. I was just like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I've yet to see any of those warnings at the start of films yet, because I guess I don't watch enough TV.
Yeah, I mean, they are mostly on TV, and I've only got, I still buy loads of like DVDs and Blu-rays, and I've only seen a handful, to be fair.
Yeah. Yes. No one's convinced me to watch White Chicks yet, so yeah. Franz lasted an hour, so that's more than 2 bits. White Chicks with dicks. Yes.
Well, even that, though, like that film's not nowhere near as controversial as this.
Well, yes, because it's the wrong way round.
But I even thought that years and years ago, though, before all these terms that get bandied around now, there certain groups, and even like just between white people, they're like some people want to be treated differently than others. And I used to think it was like, even when I was like 20, thinking, well, some people don't want to be treated equal. Some people love like, I'd be successful if I wasn't this or wasn't that. And loads of, like, say, my group of friends that I grew up with, I know loads of them that they blame loads of other external factors for it. Oh, I'd have a job if this, or I'd open an alcoholic if it weren't for my dad or something, and that's just me saying that. But no.
Yes, it sounds like you're talking about the UK class system when you mentioned people getting into college or universities. Exactly. I never went, but I was bright enough. I never really made it to sixth form. Well, yes, of course. Whoopi Goldberg did Whiteface and his Associate. I forgot about that one. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't know
just
that.
Curly, if I'd have put a curly wig on, I'd just look like a scouser. So
I feel like I say this every single time somebody mentions Whoopi Goldberg, but when I found out she hadn't got eyebrows, it blew my mind. I was like, that can't be true. This again, to about this film not being funny. To me, this sequence here where they're playing basketball is so alert. Like I just feel like the editing and the way, like again, to me, it's almost like a reverse racism thing. There, I feel like it's like
Yes, this is the weird bit. They start a fight because they want the black guy on their basketball team.
But to me though, that is an interesting thing that it was only about say 20 years ago. But because of watching movies, I always assumed that black people were like really, really cool. And when I saw black people that were like nerdy and into comic books and things, like Kevin Smith's mate Mark Bernard and stuff like that, I was like, because I feel like again, it's like a reverse racism thing that like it's all black people are always like know loads about like rap music and stuff like that, and it's just like no, again they're just the same as everybody else. And I've told this story a million times to people. But one of my favorite bands is a band called Body Count, and it started by the rapper Ice-T, and it's like a heavy metal band. And the only reason he started it was because his friend was into rock music, and he couldn't find anybody to start a band with him. And loads of times he got asked like, "Oh, who's your favorite rapper and who's your favorite this?" And he was like, "I don't know anything about rap music." Like, but you're black, and it's like, what's that got to do with it? Like,
yeah, they use that in jokes a lot, don't they? Like, what is it? Friday the 13th remake, isn't it?
Oh, I love that. I love that joke.
And he says, "I'm a musician." Oh, what is it? Rap music? Oh no, and he says, "You racist? You assume it's rap music?" And they go, "Yeah, it's rap music."
Yeah, that's a great. I love that joke. I love that joke. And even there, when he accidentally squirts the water into it, I mean, because even that, I mean, I'm not the most coordinated person in the world. You chances are, if you want to squirt water in your own face, you probably would be able to do it. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I think this was just added because I don't know if he's supposed to be playing basketball. It's just for the film because he's on the Scott. He's supposed to be studying law.
You know, that's a good point. You know, I never thought about that. That's a good point, actually. I never thought about that. So that's a really good point.
Body Count did the song on Unisol.
Ooh.
The scene in Stir Crazy, they enter the jail acting tough is brilliant. Prior lighting that match off the guy's chest is comedy genius.
Oh, that's just But believing like that though, that again, that is such a great reference to reference that scene because, like, say when you like, I think like most people think, oh, if I like, even though I'm like a massive lightweight, but I like to think, oh, occasionally I can act tough if I had to. If I had to go to jail, I'd be really in a bad way.
Yes, I would not survive the night. I would be a bitch.
It wouldn't be very good. But again, that's the one good thing. I'm dead glad, like the group of friends that I grew up with and just my childhood in general, I've never, even if I wanted to, being realistically be able to say, oh, I'm dead hard, me, how cool I am, because it was just never, it was never a thing that like, I couldn't even, it's like, oh yeah, right. And I've said this to a few of my friends, I'm always surprised if, say, I go work early in the morning, and if I haven't had a shave for a couple of weeks and I've got like a heavy metal t-shirt on and work boots or ripped jeans or something, and I can tell somebody's looking at me weird, and I'm like, am I intimidating? And I'm like, I catch my reflection in the mirror, I'm like, oh yeah, I look really weird. So,
where are my bitches at? Get my bitches here to bail me out in my limousine. I always thought there was something wrong with Whoopi Goldberg's face, but I never realized it was her eyebrows. For all the films I've seen her. I think the first, because I never knew she was a stand-up comedian until I think it was one of the Virgin videos. I don't know if it's on the Terminator or the RoboCop one where they list a load of stand-up comedian videos, and she's one of them.
Yeah, I don't even think I really made the connection that she's a stand-up comedian, like, and I must have known.
Timothy Dalton, Whoopi Goldberg dated. She dated Ted Danson as well, or is that?
Just see where, because my notes are in roughly chronological order, so anything that caught my eye, I was just jotting it down. So even though I said there's 8 pages notes, there's a lot of them are just like, oh, it's snowing. So it's like,
yeah, because this is supposed to be Chicago, isn't it, not LA? But yeah, then it turns into the second third turns into a romantic comedy. I'm getting bad because if you ain't bad, you're getting fucked. It's from Stir Crazy. There's been two. There you go.
But even that, though, the fact, though, that, like, it does turn into, like, a romantic comedy, because this is a film where I feel like, again, if, we were talking about the premise, I feel like if you just talk about the premise, it just seems like it would just be loads of that joke over and over and over again. And I know it is to a point, but at the same time, I think the romance in this is quite sweet. So I think it, as it's cake and eat it, really, I think it kind of marries both of those things together, really.
Because, yeah, she's sweet enough that you could easily fall for her.
But even though that was one thing, I was so glad that when I was growing up, that, like, my dad got me, like, into westerns, but because I had, like, 3 sisters and 2 nieces, they'd watch, like, loads of musicals and romantic films, so I'd watch romantic films then when, like, some of my friends got me into, like, horror movies and stuff. So over the years, I've watched a bit of everything, really, where some people can't stand music, which is fine. Some people can't stand musicals, can you? Or some people hate horror movies and stuff. But I can just as easily watch, like, Death Wish 3 or The Sound of Music. They're both great movies to me.
Yes.
I mean, this seems unfortunate when if you're pretending, a white guy pretending to be a black blind guy, I mean, that's it's
they always go to Stevie Wonder, don't they? Even Eddie Murphy does it. Yes, Ted Danson went blackface to roast Whoopi Goldberg. So yeah, that and then what is it? Made in America is the film they did together, where he's the sperm donor to her daughter.
I feel like that Made in America. I feel like that's one of them films where I've seen the poster for it loads. I've seen like it's advertised on loads of VHS tapes. I don't think I've ever seen it. I
think I've only seen it once. I think I saw it in the cinema, so I'm not 100% sure.
Which we should say that though, because that basketball scene, that's one scene I distinctly remember being in the cinema watching this. Isn't that a funny thing though? When there's certain films, you think, did I go see that at the cinema?
Yes, it's strange. I can't. There's many a film I was thinking about Street Fighter. I can't remember if I've seen. I think I saw that in the cinema because it's Van Damme, so I was bound to.
Well, there's one Dolph Lundgren film called Dark Angel, and I always think, I've seen that at the cinema, and I'm like, because it's not on at the cinema.
Because I don't think I either missed it or I wasn't old enough when it came out. I missed it. I don't think it lasted long.
Going to see certain films at the cinema though, because there's some films like Godzilla 1998. I never ever saw that. I'm like, I didn't go see a brand new Godzilla movie. It's like, what? That's a bit sad.
Yeah, somehow I missed GoldenEye. So yeah.
Oh well, that is kind of.
I thought, new Bond is probably shit.
No.
Whoopi's done the rounds in Hollywood.
Talk about Bond though. I don't want to change the subject too much, but it's been really interesting watching all the people talking about the Bond Amazon thing, and it's so some people are like really, really like, oh no, and then there's a couple of people saying, oh, you never know, give it a chance, let's see how it goes, I guess. And as well, talk about this woman when she's writing that book called Shades of Grey, and I was thinking, did she get ripped off by the 50 Shades of Grey, or is it just is it just a turn of phrase? Probably.
I think it was a turn of phrase, but yeah, I don't know why there's 50. Yeah, see, Death Wish 3 had the most diverse gang members in movie history. Yeah, there's hundreds of them, and they're all mates.
So say that, Michael, because I'm always a little bit. Obviously, street gangs aren't a good thing, but I'm always really sad because I'm watching so many 80s movies where the gangs are like they're multitude for diversity and everything, and then you see them in real life, it's like, no, they're not like that. It's like, oh.
I don't think the 80s were a good time for experimenting with high-concept movies. Some were dumb and trash, but quite... Oh, I do think, sorry. I can't read fuck all. But yes, quite a lot were good fun. Yeah, they've given the try. Bless them. Which is more than we see now. No one's taking risks anymore. Yes, there is an awful Cosby reference in this as well.
Well, even that, though, we should say that, though, Franz, because I thought that was one of these parts that aged the worst in this when they were like mentioning Bill Cosby. I was like, oh no.
Oh, Will Smith was in Made in America, wasn't he? Ooh, I don't know. I have to check on that. Yeah, and then if a Canadian Prime Minister can do it, then yeah, why can't I?
I don't know, but that is it. But even that wasn't like that long ago, really. And again, he's literally a guy leading a country, so it's like, well.
Well, then we get to the scene where he's had sex with the white woman, And then she's saying, well, not all things, rumors about black people are true about his dick.
And I thought this, though, is this one of the few films, though, where somebody blacks up and they have to black up like there because he's topless? Like, I can't think of any films where somebody blacks up, but they're blacking up most of the entire body. Like,
Oh, yeah, because as unconvincing as the hair and makeup is, it's not rubbing off, at least. Or, yeah, it's like people said, it's not using shoe polish. He actually, I don't know why he suddenly thought overdosing on suntan pills would actually do it, but I don't know.
That's one thing, though. Even now, I didn't really watch a lot of TV years ago. I watch it even less now. I still like the idea of a pocket TV. I don't know why. Anytime I see any kind of little tiny pocket portable TV, I always like, oh wow, I'd love to have one of them. And like, I'd use it for 10 seconds and never use it ever again.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in Burglar. What is it? Damn. What's the one with what's the one with the Cadillac? Or I can't remember what it's called now. Something like Burglar, then Jumping Jack Flash, and
I should know. I can't think.
Yeah, someone will tell me.
And even though like there, we was watching like a Prince music video. I normally pride myself on knowing quite a lot about music. I feel like if you went to December 31st, 1989, and said, "Tell me everything you know about Prince," I could tell you. I could tell you in like 10 seconds. Like he totally just passed me by completely.
But yes, because C. Thomas Howell has his own band now, and he seems to be doing that more than acting.
I did not know that. That passed me by too.
Well, I've only because I tagged him the other day and I checked him out, but he didn't see it. You probably not want to remember this. But yeah, here's the Prince impersonation. Imagine being on set that day.
Well, that'd be like I say. I think you even might have to. This scene's probably aged the worst. Like the people imagining.
This is the clip they probably show people to say, "Have you seen Soul Man?" It's this, and then Leslie Nielsen sees him as the pimp. Because that's Dark Angel really feels straight to video, but yeah, surprisingly, films were released to cinemas back then.
And that said, though, I'm still sort of surprised what films do and don't go to the cinema, because there's sometimes where I think, oh, this is definitely a cinema movie, and it just goes straight to video or something, or streaming, and then like there'll be other films that got like some big giant release, and I'm like, oh.
Fine, let's have a look. Was I old enough for Dark Angel? Cheeky bastard. Of course, it's called I Come in Peace in America.
I think it might have been a 15, so I think you might be right.
I think, was it Craig Arbaxy who did the stunt work on Predator? I Come in People. I Come in Dark Angel. Right. So it's a 6.1. It's definitely worth the praise. Right. The UK release was 1990. So, no. I was 17.
Nearly.
Although, hang on. UK, yeah. July 13th, 1990 in the cinema. Oh, it's actually a week before my 17th birthday. So there you go. Must have missed it. That's it. Fatal Beauty. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse's great. He's always here. Thank you, Jesse. You're a great help to me because I can't remember shit.
Yeah, I could picture the box in my head, but I just couldn't place it.
I could see where it was in the stack upstairs. I just couldn't. New Bond, it's probably shit. Good quote box for future entries. Yes, how little did I know? Switch All of Me and Dream a Little Dream. Some other Body Swap members. Yes, because All of Me was Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin, where his body gets possessed by her ghost, or half his body gets possessed by her ghost. And of course, Dream a Little Dream was another body swap. Debbie Williams, who was cast at all the Bond films, and that's a retirement today. She didn't have good things to say about Amazon or X. Bless her. She's the one that, was it a couple of years ago, just said they can't find anyone because all the modern actors have no gravitas, or the young actors have no gravitas or charm or anything that they could bring to the role. So that's why.
Oh no, sometimes though, I mean, I quite like sticking up for like modern movies and stuff, but sometimes though, if you really think like if somebody says, "Oh, I don't think there's any good actor anymore," why not say that? Like, oh, the police car that pulls him over, I noticed the number plate has got 666 on it. I don't know if that's just a pure coincidence. I'm not sure.
Ooh, there we go. Jimmy Fallon also blacked up to impersonate, yes, Chris Rock in 2000's SNL. He did.
And as well, wasn't Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder, wasn't he? He blacked up, and that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that's one that's picked up a lot, and he said he upsets people because he won't apologize for it. There's nothing to apologize. The whole thing, it was a satire.
Well, yeah. Well, that's again. I love it when
you just don't get it.
I love it when people because don't get me wrong. I've probably said it a million times, but I hate the thought of like if I've upset somebody, but if I think I've not done anything wrong, then it's like, well, I haven't done anything wrong. That's that.
Oh yes, the assault on Precinct 13 gang was very progressive. You see, it's their 70s as well. Yeah, the red stripe on the forehead. Because I watched Death Wish 2 the other day. That's always fun.
Well, Death Wish 2. I think the same with all the Death Wish films though, as well, because I saw them Death Wish films way too young, and then but I always feel like in my mind, it's just Charles Bronson shooting bad guys, which it kind of is. But then the first 15-20 minutes of every Death Wish film is like, oh, I've got about that part. And it's like,
it gets a bit rough to start off with. Color Purple is really good. Yes, I've never seen The Color Purple. Spielberg, yes, directed that one. It's one of his first very serious films, wasn't it?
I think I've only seen it like once. But even the fact that he had photo ID, I mean, how long did it take to get photo ID in this country?
Well, yeah, many years. But these days, I'm surprised they haven't asked Spielberg to apologize for making Color Purple because he wasn't the right person. Don't think any of Dolph's solo vehicles really made it much into theaters. No, especially in the 90s. Trying to think myself.
But I was thinking about Dolph Lundgren though as well, because just for a brief period in the 80s, he was in like a Bond movie, he was in a Rocky movie, he was the Punisher. I mean, he was He-Man. I mean, to me, out of the most flattering bit of casting ever. Imagine watching the He-Man cartoon and somebody saying, "You look exactly like that." That's a pretty, think, oh yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Some people say the same about me.
Yeah. Well, I was very scared.
Anyone notice that when the young boy's watching them in the TV, it clearly isn't Prince? I thought that. Yeah. He was watching someone, I thought, and then why is C. Thomas Howell doing an impression of Prince? Because I didn't put two and two together the other night when I watched it. And it was a guy with a guitar.
Or me, and I've seen this film lots. Oh, that was another thing though. I wrote on my notes, but when he was in jail and he said, "I thought you had you have one phone call," and he said you could have phoned me for dropping your papers off. I still don't know. Is that like a myth or an urban legend that you get one phone call?
I think it's the truth. It's always mentioned, but it doesn't say who he phoned.
I was thinking that even now, imagine if somebody said you got one phone call. I can only remember 2 phone numbers, and one of them's my own. So it's like,
yeah, I wouldn't be able to. Well, back then I either had a slip of paper in my wallet or something, or I see. I didn't. Yeah, so the girl he bangs is from The Office.
Good call, Andy.
And I didn't recognise her.
I can recognise her when I'm thinking about it.
Or a boob job. I never realised she was Monk's wife either.
I was like, that's a show I should have watched more, but that kind of part, I feel like I watched a couple of episodes, thought, yeah, it's good, and then just never watched it again.
Yeah, me and the wife are watching it, rewatching it now because we watched it years ago, but he can be annoying, Mr. Monkey. In Fatal Beauty, Whoopi and Elliot don't share a kiss because the studio thought the audience wouldn't accept a kiss shared by a black and woman and a white person. Yeah. But yes, because that was probably the same year as Coming to America being the top 3 film of the year with a 99% black cast and another one that does whiteface.
Well, was it in an episode of Star Trek? Does William Shatner kiss a black woman?
Yeah, he kissed a horror because they were going to cut it out, but they only did one take and they had to use it. So, and then there's an episode where the Riddler, Frank Gorshin, is from a race of people that's black on one side and white on the other half of their face. But then they won't mix with the other people that are white on the other side, black on the other side. It's a whole thing, but it's a subtle thing about racism that new Star Trek Discovery wouldn't understand. Yeah, there you go. He's got a country band now. He looks old. Yeah, well, he is cracking on a bit like not me.
Well, that's one thing though that kind of does freak me out a bit sometimes. Like Ralph Macchio's like 62, and like that, in my mind, I know he's obviously he must be up there, but I always think, oh, he's 48 or 52.
Yeah,
or
what was he? 22 in the 20? No, was he 26 or something in the first?
I think like 26 or something like that.
Yeah,
like
the first one.
Him.
So C. Thomas Howell was born in 66. So, ex-child rodeo star.
I was not expecting that was what you were going to say about it.
No, I never expected. But yeah, of course, The Hitcher is fantastic. The Outsiders, and funny enough, he was in the Reagan film that came out last year.
Oh, that's it. What goes around.
It's all connected, indeed.
Well, I'm such a sucker for stuff
He
like
was
that.
in Walking Dead.
Oh, well, that's another show as well. Completely passed me by. I've seen like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I saw it to season 8, and somehow that was about 10 years ago, and it's still going. Oh, he was in Criminal Minds, wasn't he? Because he had he was a serial killer in a long story thread. New MacGyver. Let's go right back. Yeah, definitely doing a lot of work. Bloody hell, I'm super scrolling, and I'm still in 2000s. But here we go. E.T., Outsiders, Tank, Grandview, USA, Red Dawn, Secret Admirer, The Hitcher, Soul Man.
I always feel like Red Dawn's a film I should like more, and I think I've seen that. I've seen it twice. It's a miracle.
Yeah, I was never into that one. Go Wolverines.
I always love as well, like that cafeteria had arcade machines in, and to me that's so 80s though. Now you'd think that it's like arcade machines.
We say put him on that outfit eating the watermelon on the cover, but yeah, even on the back, there's only 3 pictures of him as a black guy. Well, yeah, of course, the front is completely a lie. It doesn't make any sense what the.
Which we should hold the box up though, because there's loads of pictures of tapes that he's doing in this range, and one of them's the Shawshank Redemption. It's like you wouldn't think those 2 films would be ever connected at all.
C. Thomas Howell is for Christopher. Christopher Thomas Howell, or CT or Tommy. He's 5'11". He has married. So he married Ray Don Chong in '89 and divorced in '90. Okay, and he's divorced Sylvia Anderson from 2015, and they've been married since '92. Had a ruptured appendix in 2003. Was hospitalized, and he did early test screenings for Martin McFly. Someone said earlier. He turned down Daniel LaRusso. I think they said that as well in Karate Kid. Yeah.
I'm surprised Back to the Future ever got made, because Eric Stoltz filmed for once, didn't he? C. Thomas Howell was doing how did they ever get around to finishing it?
So yeah, The Hitcher 2 was probably the mistake, to be honest. It was mishandled. There was a time when Rutger Hauer was involved, so I was sort of committed understanding that what was taking place, but then it didn't happen. It was a bit of a mess. Yes, that's an understatement. I saw all this back then, even Like Father, Like Son, and vice versa on rental. I think definitely saw Vice Versa in the cinema. I saw Big in the cinema. I saw, what was the other one? 18 Again, I didn't see. I don't know if I even seen it ever. Never been a fan of George Burns. But Dudley Moore was in Like Father, Like Son, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to think if I've ever seen a body swap film at the cinema. I don't think I have. I watched 13 Going on 30, which is sort of kind of one, but I don't think I have.
Seemed jittery, did he? Oh dear. I loved pretty much all of them body swap films, yeah, because we got Freaky Friday was in the 70s, and then again in the 2000s, and now we're getting another one, a remake, sequel to that one, aren't we? What's the name? Jamie Lee Curtis and
Freaky Friday.
Oh, Freaky Friday, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Bloke who wrote BBC Porridge wrote Vice Versa. Probably one of the better ones.
I always loved Dick Clement and England Frame, so the Porridge guys, they did uncredited work on Never Say Never Again, and they did all these giant movies that I didn't know that they were any part of.
Yeah. So yes, he made a lot of crappy but watchable director thrillers, which is pretty much every actor from the 80s seemed to be making. crappy but watchable thrillers in the 90s, and
I've-
all the directors as well.
I've done a complete 180 on cheap films though, because I think I've always liked cheap movies anyway. But I feel like you get such quirky little films now that are made for like peanuts, and I almost kind of like the fact that they're a bit ropey and they look a bit cheap, like because they're all shot digitally and stuff. I don't know.
Yes,
there's
it doesn't work.
There's something about them. Like, oh, actually, it's funny you should say that though, because I don't know why the hell that's just reminded me, but loads of times when I put stuff in the chat, because my spelling's really bad and I press enter when I'm like, I think it's so my sentences are chopped off all the time. But a couple of streams ago, somebody was talking about Fantasia, and somebody said Fantasia 2000 is just Fantasia re-released. But what I meant to say was it's actually a brand new film, and they just ported over The Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia, and it dropped it in the middle. But everything on either side of it is all brand new animation and everything like that. And I think a lot of people probably thought that about Fantasia 2000. Were like, oh, it's just Fantasia released in the year 2000.
Yeah, I don't think it helped. Did it? They didn't mention the fact because they kept it one bit. So yeah, it is true. I've only seen the first one once, maybe the original.
I feel like those films where I like them more than actually watching it. Like I like the idea of them, but like they're kind of very pretentious. But the one thing about Fantasia that always amazes me when I think about it. There's one plot where Mickey goes underwater and he gets like literally covered in water. I always think, how do you draw water? Because it's like, yeah, draw that thing that's see-through. What? It's
that's crazy. It's great animation and great music. It's just I ain't got time to sit there and watch it. But yes, Blacking Up Little Britain, which was made 10, 15 years ago now. Or the airport one as well.
Well, that's
totally
crazy.
Banned now.
That's a good call, Andy, because that I've seen. I mean, I'll stick up for this and stick up for like Little Britain's and like you think it was 15 years ago on BBC. It's like, wow.
Yes, Army of One. Yes, it's called Joshua Tree, I think, in the UK. Yeah, it's under J's. I think it was directed by the great stuntman Vic Armstrong, who did load of 80 stuff, Rambo, Superman, Rambo, Raiders, and all sorts. And yeah, he directed a few films. The Jeep that he's driving reminds me of the one Demi drove in Sentinel's Fire. Even the street looks the same. I thought you were going to say the Jeep from bloody Salem's Lot, that the door never shuts.
It does look like
Sentinel's. And yes, Franz had to mention some Demi into the chat. I need to get a Demi clip I can play. The first time anyone mentions Demi that's linked to the film we're watching. Men of War with Dolph deserved a theatrical. Great movie. I don't know if I know that one.
I don't think I know that one either.
Trouble is, he's done, like everyone says, he's done so many. Yes, the Black and White Minstrel Show. Thank you, Stu. I forgot about that. Yes, you still find albums of that in the charity shops. The Black and White Minstrel Show. Little middle-aged white guys dressing up as black faces, and then that was the number one show of the 70s.
Well, that was one of them shows though where, I mean, like I say, talk about being able to defend stuff. I mean, that's crazy. But that's one thing. The kid was playing with the Dinobots, and I was like, oh, that's Grimlock. What's different though? Because I'm watching my VHS and you're watching VHS, and I'm very slightly up front, which I don't know that's happened because we're both watching VHS.
All right. Stupid players. Shows how woke UK has become. No chance Little Britain could be made now. Yes. I don't know if those two have apologised or just kept quiet. Just give me my fucking phone call. Yes, it was Joshua Tree in the UK, but the John Woo shootout in the garage got ruined. Okay, yeah, I see. You got cut out. I thought because Dolph Lundgren's in John Woo's TV show Blackjack, which was quite bad. It's the best scene in the movie. Yeah, of course it was ruined in the UK then. Mr. Dudley scenes in Little Britain were comedy gold. Yeah, I guess they did black faces, they did disabled people, they did everyone, didn't they?
I always remember though, there's a rock band that I really like called Skin, and they got a black female lead singer, and she said something once that always stuck with me. She said, she doesn't mind racist jokes as long as they're funny. And I feel like, to me, it's like, if something's genuinely funny, it's funny. I mean, you know, it's all, I think like some jokes, racist jokes, because like I said, the area and time I grew up in, I knew loads of people that were into like Bearded Manning and Roger B. Brown, and most of their jokes aren't funny. But I feel like if you hear a really funny joke, and it makes you laugh. Like it's like even if it's a joke slagging off like say white people or whatever, it's just like I feel like I don't know if something's funny, it's funny. It's like
Yeah, if it's clever or witty. But yes, the toy. Yeah, the toy is racist because the white rich kid, it makes it look like he owns Richard Pryor and works for free, but it's not true. Richard Pryor's paid to be there to be this kid's friend, and then he comes to become good friends with the kid, and the kid learns to be less of a rat throughout the film. So the whole thing is ridiculous that they're saying it's racist. Although the same maths is racist now. If 2 and 2 equals 4, that's racist. So you can't win.
I think there's so many things though now that like say we've said it like well I probably said it 10 times already, but like the premise for this movie, if you just read it, it's like well that sounds racist, but you watch and it's so many things they sound bad in and out of context. But yeah, I mean, the other one, the scene where it's snowing, I was like, oh, I said I think I'm slightly in front.
I have the Blu-ray of Joshua Tree from Shout, and the ending was cut short. Oh, I have the DVD of Army of One, and it's uncut. Crazy. Red Dawn was Invasion USA for kids. Yes,
that might
all
be
star
the
cast: Patrick Swayze and what's his name, Charlie Sheen, isn't it?
Red Dawn
snowing.
being Easy Invasion USA for kids might be the quote of the stream so far.
Oh, C. Thomas I got to shag in her prime, Jamie Lee Curtis, and a year after this, a Milfy and Margaret, the lucky sod. Was that because Jamie Lee's only done 2 topless scenes? Was it
Trading
Granville,
Places,
USA, Trading Places, and another one? Rocky 4, 5, 6.
I'll still never forget this. It sounds like proper name dropping, but it kind of is. But when me and my friend saw John Landis at a convention, and my friend said to John Landis, "Oh, I watch this every Christmas. It's a tradition me and my brother have." And John Landis said straight away, "Yeah, said it's only because Jamie Lee Curtis is topless in, isn't it?" And he was like,
Yes, I didn't know that Ray Don Chong was Cheech and Chong's daughter, but I didn't really know much about them.
"Yeah,
I've never seen any of their films, but yeah."
I don't know. I know one of them's in Ghostbusters 2, and that's about it. I don't know anything about them really.
Ah, yes. No one's in. Cheech is in a lot of stuff in like From Dusk Till Dawn. There you go. What's your favorite film? And don't say Soul Man for Christ's sake.
Oh, what's my top 3 alternates. It's either Clockwork Orange, Koyaanisqatsi, or In the Mouth of Madness. Those 3 films.
Hang on, what was the second one?
Koyaanisqatsi. It's it's just a film of like dead arty like.
Is it Philip Glass soundtrack?
Yeah. And I just saw
the soundtrack. I've never seen the film.
I just saw it once randomly. There's a really great satellite channel called MGM HD, and they had a free weekend one weekend, and it was just on there, and I was like, "Oh, that's really really cool." And if you talk about films that are basically on this level, I love Counting Inconvenience as well. So that's my top 4.
Might be the same. Oh, I've done Army 1 TV Down. The fight is not much better. It's from Artisan. There you go. What's your favorite film? This is Chuck. Yeah, doing a favorite film is pretty impossible, really. You have to have at least 10. Which era was JLC hot? Oh,
I think she still is, isn't she? I feel like any time I've seen her, like where she's not wearing many clothes, which is a weird sentence to say out loud. She seems like she's still got it.
She did that perfect recreation. She still looks good.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's actually what sprung to mind. Actually,
although what did I see pictures of the other day? Who's that Aussie suit model? The body.
Oh,
McPherson. Elle McPherson.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. Anyway, I was just thinking of. Oh, Beverly Hills Cop. That is the tops. That is true. It's no Cobra, but it's. Where's he in? Has he seen Cobra yet?
I'll just say it's quick while I think about it. But one thing, when people say what their favourite films are, one thing that I won't say annoys me but bugs me is when somebody will say, "Oh, my favourite film is," and it's 3 films combined, like the Star Wars trilogy. And I'm like, you can't put 3 films as one choice. That's cheating. That's the whole point of doing a top 10 is because it's hard.
Demi was in about last night, same as this. Put Congo on VT, that went down well. Turned into a toast debate. Yes, it did. Definitely check out Congo, it's very good. Yeah, he had a 20-minute discussion on what we could have on fucking toast. Oh, yes, he did. The apologize for Bo Sledge. I never liked Bo Sledge in the first place. The guy's really annoying, but yeah, he knew he was probably struggling for work, so he needed to apologize.
We're just weird about that guy who does Bo Selector, because I have to be really in the right mood for watching. But he's ever so funny. If you ever see, he's like on Instagram or something like that. He's like a really talented artist. He makes like really good recreations of like Gizmo and like puppets from movies, like really like they just look like props from the movie. But if you ever see his comedy, it's really puerile and like. And talk about stuff that's controversial though, because about 5-6 years ago, that Lee Francis wrote a kids' book, and it was like, "Oh, aren't you lovely? You're dead sweet." And every time I watched one of his shows, he was proper like pervy and sleazy, and I'm like, was that kind of like a kid's author? Like I was like, "Oh no, you're lovely." It's like what?
Yeah, I've not seen Wisdom. I remember the poster or the video cassette in the shop, but I never saw it.
I don't think I've seen that either. And I do like an Emilio Estevez film, which sounds like a joke, but it's true.
Yeah, hang on, where's the punchline? But Maximum Overdrive is his best.
That is good.
I was going to look up what my little book of movies on the TV and video cassette says about this film. Will it be positive?
I'll say this while it's in my mind as well. But I went to see The Monkey the other day at the cinema. It was based on Stephen King. And I'm sure there was a Maximum Overdrive reference in it. I was like, that must be a reference to Maximum Overdrive. So
I did hear there's something, right? How do you spell Soul Man?
S-O-U-L.
Soulfire. Hang on, here we go. Soul Man. It's got 3 stars. This white bread comedy is snappy without ever being surprising, but the engaging cast proves that comedy can be amusing even if it's only skin deep. There you go.
3 stars, which is good if it's out of 5.
Yeah, it's not bad. So. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Wisdom anywhere. Yeah, most like to suck dick. Yeah, I never watched. I would turn it off if he came on. G.I. Jane is short. Yeah, that's the shortest hair she's ever had. I've never seen G.I. Jane either. Or I want to see the sequel.
I think this happened was on the Dragnet stream as well. I always feel like I've seen a lot of movies and I know quite a bit about movies until anybody mentions any of these films. And I'm like, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's Ramon and Dr. Impossible always have me on my toes with stuff. Lee Francis did apologize, pretty much. People apologize too much these days. Yeah, I guess it's tricky. Do you apologize and keep working or go on the dole with your, like, what is it? One of the writers of, she's, sorry, distracting.
Oh no.
What's it? Graham Linehan, who thought all his friends would support him, but he lost his friends, his wife, his family, and moved to a different country because
well, I think that's kind of interesting as well, because people say, you don't lose your job and things like that. And loads of people suddenly just don't work anymore because you've said something wrong.
Born in East LA. I've seen the poster for that one. But I've never seen a Cheech.
I don't think I've seen that either.
Michael Sheen would still get it in G.I. Jane. I'm going to have to find the Body Ventura, yes. Oh, yeah, super. No, the Body, the other one. I was working today. I haven't had a chance. Oh, come on. This is pathetic. He's here watching this for an hour and a half. And he's got... he could be watching Cobra. I will prepare my pizza. Yes. Cold pizza. Make sure it's like a few days old at least. Hey, there's the captain. I didn't get the notification that late this time. Yeah. Normally the captain late gets like the next day. Same here. I don't get notifications.
But their notifications weird that like you think it'd be almost impossible to not get them. Like
Yes, exactly. They want you to watch these bloody things for their adverts, so you think they'd be on the ball. Cobra is needs to watch. Yeah, it's like 80 minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm always a sucker for scenes like this, though. And I hate the term guilty pleasure or like when people like tropes or cliches. But any time when there's a scene where somebody's got to hide somebody in a certain room and they've got to go answer the door like with their eyes, somewhere over their head or something, it's like they're like in Superman 4, I think it is. And any film where I've seen it, I've always found it a good premise, like
Yeah, it's this goes into farce.
But it's like even like there to me, certain films like how unrealistic is this movie. But the fact like when he gets like a ski mask, it's like to me that's the most unrealistic. Like imagine, would you have a ski mask? In real
Well,
life?
yes, owning a ski mask. I guess he's a rich kid, but why would he take it to college with him?
I don't know if I said this at the start, but are sun tanning pills even a thing in real life? Because it was only about halfway through it when I was watching it the other day. I was thinking, do sun tanning
Probably
pills
didn't make it past the testing phase.
even exist?
Yeah, he overdosed on them. Because that's what I don't get. It seems to happen overnight.
Well, yeah, that's.
And then it goes away overnight as well. He just turns back at school and he's white again.
And even that, I love that in movies. Well, I said I think I'm very slightly in front, but when he just opened the door to Rayton Chung and shut it again, I've always thought that.
That's always happens, doesn't it? Oh, it's you. Boom.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people say they like The Shawshank Redemption as their favorite film. As often they're lying just to seem intellectual. Yes, when their favorite film is Dude, Where's My Car? Yeah. Talking about another problematic film.
But even that's one of the films that's so out there. I don't know anybody could watch Dude, Where's My Car and be like, oh, I'm dead offended. Like, it's a film called Dude, Where's My Car.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah. But it does have hot chicks in it.
You are
right. I haven't heard good things about The Monkey. It's 50-50, as always, with modern horrors, isn't it? Half people love it, half people hate it. And I probably hate it. I don't trust Osgood.
I think it's one of them films. I think it's better than Long Legs. I mean, I know my taste in movies is all over the place. I know like pretty much everything I've ever seen, but I think it's good. I think I'd be surprised if you hate it, but I think you might have to be in the right mood for it. But I think it was fine.
Okay. Yeah, I will give it a go. Oh, hang on. Sorry, ladies. Look at that vinyl collection. Look at that lovely stereo she's half naked in front of. I quite like The Monkey. See, Andy likes it. I think it's more positive than negative for that one than it was for Long Legs. Yeah, Fender and Cyborg was one of the best baddies going. He was vicious. Back to the Future, T2 and The Fugitive. Top three. Hey, you can't go wrong with that.
To be fair, though, they are good.
Yeah, I think, is it Ray Dong? Is it Ray or Ray Dawn Chong? It's a bloody hippie name, isn't it?
Yeah. Or
is she in The Principal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I say the girl from Commando.
The Principal. That's always a film that I think I've seen.
I've triggered the Captain Adam.
Oh no!
I'd have to say something pretty offensive to upset the captain, I think. But yeah, the Fender with his strapping people up in a well and get the little girl to hold them with barbed wire. That is sick. Some sick shit. Regarding Cobra. Brian Thompson's awesome with the baddies, great in everything, including Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I should have worn my axes. Where's the Midnight Woodsman with his axes?
I've probably said this many times as well, but Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it always sticks with me for one reason. It's the only Laserdisc I've ever rented.
Which one?
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I remember when I got my Laserdisc player for the first time, and when my local video shop actually rented Laserdisc, and they were like, "Oh, just rent one of the basically use this for test your player." I was like, "Okay, cool," and that's the only time I've ever seen it.
So yes, BMX Bandits was directed by Brian Trenton Smith, who's coming back for finish his interview in a couple of weeks. But yes, Nicole Kidman. That's the first thing I saw her in when she's a spunky redheaded. I guess you'd call it a tomboy back then. Otherwise, you'd call it a trans girl back now. I guess. She likes biking, get her changed. But
one thing as well about things that stick with me, anytime I think about BMX Bandits, I nearly always think it's one of the first times I had access to a Teletext TV. And I put the guide on, and it was on the day when BMX Bandits was on. And for the description for BMX Bandits, it said, a group of cycle enthusiasts foil a bank robbery. And I was just, I always think of that. It just makes me laugh every single time I think about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fender was he dubbed, wasn't he? Textbook definition of Middleborough. I haven't seen Shawshank for ages. Yes, he's in a small point in Point Break with the singer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, isn't he? Back off, War Child. Seriously.
Well, one of the main criteria I sometimes think about judging if something truly is one of your favourite movies, would you watch it when you come back in from the pub after a night out drinking? And I bet hardly anybody is coming from the pub with the mates and put Shawshank Redemption on. I can almost guarantee
Here,
it.
check this out. But yeah. Yes. That's a multi elevator. Yes, Arnie Senior Hall does the same thing. Open the door, shut the door, and then opens the door slowly. Yes, I was going to say, it's. I only noticed it's from the producer of Risky Business when I started earlier, and I saw my poster, because I pay a lot of attention to these things.
Risky Business is one of those 80s movies, though, where I like it every time I watch it, but it was just like super iconic movie, and it's like that kind of passed me by in the 80s. I always remember the poster and everything, but I was just like...
Yeah, because I think, was it sex work is positive now, so it's a good thing, but then she has a man controlling her business, so it's not a good film. I don't know, it's all very confusing. Yeah, the artist's impression of Brian Thompson Cobra. Yeah, looks like a kid through it.
I think I basically sort of said this a while ago, but I've heard a few comedians say this, that basically how to be a decent person is just basically not be an arse kind of thing. And I feel like if you know somebody is genuine, like I've known most of my friends now for 30 years or 20, 30 years, and I know that the genuine people, and I feel like sometimes you can tell if somebody says like a racist thing, and you can tell they really mean it, or you can tell that somebody's prejudiced. And I think, why would anybody really want anger around somebody like that? Just like even when I've got time, I mean, I know about 4 people anyway, but I mean, it's like...
So yes, the Kurgan scenes in Shawshank. Yeah, do you trust your wife? What are you talking about? Something that looks like cheese. Brian Thompson has the most masculine jawline ever. I
think that's probably true too. Yeah.
Because he gets killed by Arnie in Terminator, and then he gets killed by Stallone in Cobra. Spoilers for Ian. Yes, Tom Noonan, because of Cobra Manhunter. Yeah, I still keep trying to get Tom Noonan, but they keep saying he's got nothing to promote, but he's not obviously doing any work. So how am I supposed to talk to him?
I do quite like we're doing a live stream for Cobra, and we've worried that somebody might not have seen the end of Cobra. I mean,
well, if they don't know, I don't want some key. I've never been able to decide if it's artist's impression of Brian Thompson was meant to be funny or not. I think it's supposed to be serious. Oh, there's Leslie Nielsen. He's only been in about 2 minutes of this film, hasn't he? Tomboys don't exist anymore. They're brainwashed to believe they're trans. Exactly. That's what seems to happen. A boy picks up a dolly.
This line here made me laugh the other day when I watched it, when he gets punched in the stomach and his friend's asking him, have you got any internal bleeding? And he says, I don't know. And he goes, yeah, that's why they call it internal bleeding. And you wouldn't.
Yeah, there is. There's a few good jokes in this, if you're paying attention.
I did like that part near the start, though. I thought it was a really clever bit of script writing when he'd only agreed to try and do this prank by figuring out nobody had even applied for this scholarship. And then when he finds out she's applied for it, he's completely like pulled the rug from under him. Like, I think.
Yeah, there is some good sense in this. And then I don't know why they get evicted. I don't know if it's because he was messing with the daughter or it's just an excuse.
Oh, no, I think it was because I think when they found out, like, he was like not who he said he was. And I think there's one part near the start, I don't think I really properly picked up on it, but when they said the terms of the lease are no loud music, no taking drugs, no, and they basically they break all of them in the first like day or something.
Yeah, Shawshank is great, but best film ever. No. We've got Halloween 5 for that. Yes, Thompson as Buffalo Bob in Joe Dirt is terrific. Small part, but hilarious. Yes, I do love a bit of Joe Dirt, yeah. It rubs the lotion. I didn't like Cobra, but I did like Sly of First Blood. I found Cobra cheesy and very out of date, but I like parts of the soundtrack. Oh, yes. Yeah, well, he's definitely like an acquired taste. Just one of the guys is similar to this. Problematic now.
Talk about films if you've seen them or not. Is there a Joe Dirt 2? Or if I just I was thinking
yeah, it's one of those legacy sequels that was everyone saying I wanted a Joe Dirt 2, so they wait 20 years to make it, and it's not good. You're my sister. You're my sister. You're my sister. Yeah, Zadar's jaw was someone that squashed his chin into the ground and it stayed that way. Yes, that was a medical condition, Mike was. Some respect.
But when people talk about all these people talk about Jaws, one thing probably can't see it on the camera, but I've got a cool scar on my chin that I got when I was about 6 years old. My sister used to live in the block of flats, and I was so excited to go up there. I ran up the stairs as fast as I could, fell over, and knocked my chin on the floor. And I probably should have had stitches, but my parents were like, "Don't matter." So,
Chicks dig a scar. I don't know if I found that to be true, but yeah. Thompson was 100% an imitating baddie. He was pure geek in AWOL or Lionheart. Oh, yes, because forgot he's in the fucking late AWOL. Because he got known. I think he's in Fright Night 2 as the limo driver that eats bugs and then is somehow made of bugs.
But what's funny about AWOL, I know for a fact that I've seen that movie. I rented it when it was brand new, and I could tell you everything I know about that film, like in one sentence, probably. I think somebody gets set on fire in it, and that's the only thing that I remember.
Yeah, the Green Mile are good, but yeah, both slightly overrated. I will admit that. They're not ones I'd watch a lot. I haven't seen them either for at least 10 years. I'm glad you had the balls to do this film, even if some hate it and want it swept under the carpet. It happened and it's worth a discussion. It has a place in movie history, good or bad. Oh, well, see, Andy's always welcome at my gaff.
That's true. That's true, Andy. Yeah. Well, it's funny that Andy should say that, though, because I've seen a couple of people over the years say they do like 80s channels or film your location videos, and sometimes I might put in the chat, "Oh, have you ever thought about doing Salman?" They're like, "No," like they just like won't entertain the idea.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just going to see if our VHS is cut. If I could spell Soul Man again. SN to SS. Right, here we go. Snow White, Social Network, Son of Bigfoot, Something Wild, Sorceress. Oh, that's a good one. If you like Linda Blair. And other attractive ladies naked. Spaceballs is cut. Yeah. This one isn't. Oh, Soul Man. Oh, yes, there it is. Not under Soul Plane. Sadly, all good things must go on, and it's a parties over. Oh, that's the description of the film. BBC FC categories were required for the PG-rated version. Yes, this is what people said at the beginning that I forgot about. Some of the F words were taken out, wasn't it?
Oh, that makes sense thinking about it because, like I say, I know my local cinema was, played fast and loose with
and showing of cannabis.
But I was pretty sure it was a PG when I went to see it.
I've never sat through all of the Green Mile. It is a slog and it's not a half fun film. Oh, Shawshank is mediocre. I agree, says Damon. Have you ever put a match in your mouth pretending to be Marion Cobretti? Many a times. many times.
Is that one of the few instances, though, where somebody just having a match in the mouth is actually cooler than smoking? Like, it's like...
Shawshank is a great film, but better than Godfather. Come on. Yeah, I would put The Godfather over it. My hand is scarred, but at least matchiest thing ever. A metal stud from a strap on a box of Daz. Oh, yeah. Those little... pulled it off for a second. Well, yeah, I told the story about my nerve-damaged little finger because of a Frey Bentos lid. Yeah, movies like Forrest Gump, Shawshank, Green Mile, Braveheart, Beautiful Mind are all watchable, but typical Hollywood dramas. It doesn't affect. Too transparent. Yeah, you're not wrong.
We'll talk about like how you can injure yourself on dead simple things, but one thing that always freaks me out when I see it at work, because I work in a pub, and they have a spike where they put the orders on when they've been taken out. And when I walk past, I'm like, are you allowed to have a big spike just sticking up? Like, it seems like an accident way. And so I don't know if I've seen so many horror movies. I'm just like...
Yeah, that's the trouble. You watch too many Final Destinations.
It just looks like that's...
Oh, this film's over already.
Well, that's funny because it's absolutely flown. Like,
Yeah. You haven't talked much, but yeah, it's got this big lawyer speech. Just like Forrest Gump, I like the movie, but lots of people overrate it. Yeah, it's not the best film ever. It's entertaining and it's quite sad in places, but yeah. That dirty Shawshank is all right. My brother has a VHS of called Traveling Execution about a bloke who killed people in Mexico. It looks good, but it made in the 50s, 70s. Bloody hell. Razzle Dazzle Red. The Godfather will always be the greatest movie of all time. I hate the notion that 2 was better. Ooh.
But it took me so long to see The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, and I still haven't even seen The Godfather Part 3 yet, so... yeah.
Uh-oh. Yes. I am the new old order. You're the disease, and I'm the cure. Go ahead, I don't shop here. So many times, yeah.
I feel like I have to say this every time somebody mentions Cobra as well, but the original SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the very first 5 minutes is almost a shot-for-shot remake of Cobra.
I'm going to have to watch that. I keep feeling to... I wonder if anyone would argue that Part 3 is the best. There are probably people out there that would.
But talking about when people saying that Shawshank Redemption is their favourite film, I think if it is, that's fine. But like I do sometimes think though, for years and years, if you genuinely think that, obviously people probably think it's the best, but if you've genuinely got a soft spot for like Godfather Part 3, and anybody you tell is like, yeah, right.
Well, let's have a look at because I put up my recent watches, and one person either pressed the wrong button and chose Crocodile Dundee 3 over Crocodile Dundee 1. So put that in your whatever's. Traveling Execution, I actually heard of that one. I remember the cover. It doesn't ring a bell.
Well, I can never remember exactly who I've said it to, but that's one thing that, like, since growing up pre-internet, that there was loads of films that I genuinely loved, like Never Say Never Again and Friday the 13th Part 5 and Halloween 3. I genuinely thought they were all great movies. Loads of films in that kind of bracket. And when I used to go on the internet when it first started, and I'd say, I love Halloween 3, and people are like, oh, stop joking. I'm like, no, I genuinely think Halloween 3 is good, or I love Friday the 13th Part 5, and people are like, no, it's rubbish. I'm like, really? It's like...
Have you not seen Deborah Voorhees' tits?
Oh. I still can't get over there's somebody named Voorhees, though, in a Friday 13th.
Well, yeah, you got to wonder if they actually just picked her either because of her great tits or because she's called Voorhees.
Both good reasons.
Well, that is true.
I bet this scene was quite fun to do and quite an intimidation if you've got to act against James Earl Jones.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah, and he's got to be mean and through the whole fucking thing. You think, oh shit, can't make him laugh.
I feel like this is quite a long scene for what's essentially like a kids' movie. It's like a big, huge monologue.
Yes. Oh, mama. Yeah, because Stone Cold opening scenes from Kobe. Yeah, any film. I'm trying to think. There's Seagal's done a few, isn't he? Where a convenience store robbery, he foils. Even Dark Angel has one as well.
Well, talk about like cliches and tropes. I never get sick of seeing a convenience store robbery that gets foiled by somebody doing martial arts or something like that. I mean, I could watch like if we joined about 50 of those clips together, I could easily watch that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got to watch Resident Evil Afterlife next. No, not Afterlife, final chapter. And I'm 20 minutes in, and I don't remember any of it. All I remember is it doesn't take place exactly after what promised on the last one. But yes, people are afraid to say certain movies are their favorite because it's not well liked, so they're said by guilty pleasure movie. I'm not guilty of any pleasures.
Oh no, I totally agree with that point because the term guilty pleasure, I've always thought that if you're just watching movies that get released by proper film companies, nothing should ever be a guilty pleasure. And only if you're watching some very weird movies made by someone in the house or something, and something really weird's going on, then you put, that might be. But you should never feel guilty for just watching something that the BBFC have rated. I mean,
why not Playmate of the Apes?
Ooh. But you know what though? That's one thing though. And I'll stick up for anybody watching anything. I've never ever found those versions of movies to be. I don't think I've even looked for clips on the internet. It's always just like, oh, okay. Well, that says you're on that box up was kind of hilarious. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna get the directors agreed to sign it for me, so I'm gonna get signed because it's I think it might be the last watch party I watched with Dave before he passed away. So I thought I'll get it signed by the director. It's a nice thing. But hello, Jim.
Well, that's one thing though. I've always loved though when you will just say hold up the box to like American Ninja that's signed, and you seem to just always be able to just pluck them out. Somebody will mention like American Ninja, and you just like go, it's like there, boom.
Hang on. While we're here, not being popular, we got my Cobra signed by the musician Sylvester Levy. But yeah, unfortunately, everyone else is no longer with us, and the chance of getting Sly to do it is slim.
Well, to me though, honestly, if I had a copy of Cobra signed by literally anybody on that film, I'd be pretty happy.
Bridget Nielsen.
I still can't get over though how Stallone got Bridget Nielsen into being Creed 2. Every time I see, I'm like, she's in Creed 2. It's like, how did you do that?
That was a bit of a coup, wasn't it? So yeah, this is where the film gets serious, and the message comes through that he's making reparations, as it were. At least James Earl isn't dressed like a cockroach. Yes, that is true. Check out Frightly Forgotten Horror, because they just done an Exorcist 2 video review, and then I was watching it and I thought, I've seen Exorcist 2 a couple of times. I don't remember any of these scenes. All I remember is the giant cockroach scene at the end.
I've got a proper soft spot for Exorcist 2, and the main reason is I think the film's okay, but I genuinely think the theatrical trailer for Exorcist 2 is one of the best movie trailers of all time. It's cut together so well, and the music on it's awesome.
Yes, Pam Grier is gorgeous, especially in the 70s films when she's topless for most of them.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, he eats the cookie that's Stone Cold as well.
I don't think I've ever seen that Stone Cold as well, and I feel like that's a film that's really
it's crazy, mental. Afterbirth, yes, Resident Evil. At least it's the final one. I'm done. Never have to watch them ever again.
Well, that's one thing though. You've stayed all in on them Resident Evil films because a lot of people would have given up a long time ago.
I was tempted. That fuck it. Why am I bothering? But
I think sometimes after a bit though, I think it does almost become like, why not, like kind of thing. It's like
it's a parody. It's just with topless ladies in it. I'm just checking I can show it. Yes, I can show the back. But yeah. Show us your primates. Go on, love. It's a smile.
I'd say I think I'm very slightly ahead by you for about 10 seconds or something. But
yeah.
When the kid goes put money in the jukebox, I don't know why, and I don't know where I've got it from, that the word jukebox is racist, and I always feel like, is it? And I don't know, and I'm not sure why.
You got blue hair on Twitter.
Well, I always just feel like it's one of them words I've heard people say,
it probably is.
You can't say that word out. I'm like, why? Like, is there something called juke joints? I'm not even sure, but I feel like that there's. I couldn't have thought it was that racist though, because I just said it out loud. So,
My favourite films are very odd: Labyrinth, Exorcist, Mary Poppins, North by Northwest, and The Fog. Yeah, that's an eclectic mix. Well done, Ian.
I really hope it was The Fog.
Cobra will be next on that list, I'm sure. Yes, watching Exorcist 2 is like being on drugs for free. Exactly.
That might be the second quote of the night.
Yes, I'm usually considered a snob. Never, John. Not here.
But then again, like I said 5 minutes ago, I genuinely think that if your favourite movies are Shawshank Redemption, Godfather, Citizen Kane, if they are your genuine favourite movies, I've got zero problem with that. But I always feel like, I think Andy might have referenced it earlier on, but like, if you said that like, my favourite film is Citizen Kane, and you go home and watch Police Academy 2, it's like, well, just say you like Police Academy 2.
Yeah. So this is a very happy ending, this film. He somehow pays off the debt she passes her test. He's going to be a lawyer for the poor people and help everyone out. There you go. Yeah, pass your fortune, titled, but not now. That's my impression of Bill Murray doing an impression.
What's really funny, I knew that's what you were doing, but what's really funny though is that bit in Scrooged, I don't know why, it took me such a long time to click in, like, what did they were on about? Like,
yes, me. When they said, oh, Dick, and all this, I thought, who the hell is he talking about? It took me a long time.
But then again, that's the good thing about certain jokes like that. You don't have to know who the film. It's just funny. But then when it's like, and there's so many lines in Wayne's World, and especially Airplane, that I didn't know they were referencing like old TV commercials or like who Ethel Merman was and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
just,
Everything's coming out. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was just a funny joke, but yeah, it turned out Ethel Merman's a real singer.
but I always think that as well, and I've said this a million times in a million different places, but I've always hate the term, you're not a real fan if, but like when you just copied that Ethel Merman part from Airplane, and you did it, you actually did it exactly like in the movie, and I feel like a lot of people would just quote, just say the line, but you like, I could tell exactly what you were doing. Like.
So the two racist jokers have been punched out. I'm not sure how that's going to end for him. He's probably going to get sacked now, but yeah. And lose his college career, yeah.
But even that, though, as well, the way that, like, them two racists kept making jokes, and at first he was like, oh, it doesn't matter. And then it's like, then he realises that it's like, well, no, you can't just, you can say it, but you can be judged on it, like,
yeah, be careful. The bit where he and Linda Bear are on the bus and he snaps at the bus driver didn't really seem like acting. Yeah, I wonder if you could never tell with Burton, could you? Empire of the Ants, yeah. I love those old monster movies. I should see if I can find any.
Well, talk about the Exorcist though, because my mate got free tickets for that last Exorcist movie, and when I was saying that I like pretty much, there's only about 2 or 3 movies that I haven't enjoyed whenever I first saw them on some level. And honestly, when I saw Exorcist Believer, I felt like I'd wasted 2 hours of my life. It's really not good. Exorcist 2 is like Citizen Kane compared to
yeah, at least it looks like a film. I put some serious ones on that list. No, Teen Wolf. Yeah, check Teen Wolf. What you going to watch? Teen Wolf or Citizen Kane? Or
I'd much rather watch Teen Wolf. Well, to be fair, I do like Citizen Kane, but the soundtrack to Teen Wolf though was next.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to check it out. Exorcist 2 taught me that in the event of fire, you should bash the flames with a crutch. And the film is done. There we go, we made it. I'm still live, I believe. I haven't been taken down by the YouTube people. But there's Ron Reagan.
The actor. Yeah.
My favourite Richard Burton, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Well, I've left a blank page because when we used to do commentaries years ago, we always used to do a thing called Random Crew Member. But I didn't pick one, so
I know I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing stands out in this film. I don't think there's no stunt people. That's what I was going to look up. If they're uncredited, because sometimes in the old days they didn't have enough credits to go around. The first
person's name I clicked on was a caterer, and she's still working. I got a film this week. But yeah, I'll have to.
I don't know who Art Patrol is.
Art Patrol's a cool name.
Well, that's their job. So.
Oh, so that's it. Sorry, yeah. Oh, that.
They got.
And
then Raw Don Chung had her own makeup person. So look, stunts. There's 6 people that aren't credited. There we go. And I don't recognize any of them. But
I think that's good though sometimes though, especially since like IMDb and things like that though, that like even if it is your name you don't recognize, you click on it and then, oh wow, this person made like 300 films or something like. And that's one thing as well. It's only like since the internet, but now so many times when I've been to see a film at the cinema or brought like a 4K, and then I've started checking on IMDb information, and I always feel like I've done that my entire life, and I obviously have done.
No. So stunt coordinator is Chris Howell, who is related to C. Thomas. So this is why I had these books back in the day, and then so you get a few actors and a director, but that's about it. And then some VHSs, some of the older ones had the sleeves with the cast and crew on, if they could fit them. Well,
it's funny you should say about having that book, because one book that I had pretty much either since I was at school or when I just left school, a book called The Stephen King Companion, and it's a list of all his books and everything like that. But every so often I keep thinking, because I've had that book for such a long time, there's no way it can be up to date until about his newer movies. And I noticed that that film, The Monkey, the original short story, was mentioned in that book. And I'm like, how is there a brand new film that's out at the cinema mentioned in this Stephen King companion? And like I say, it's talking about the original story published way back when, but I mean, I just didn't think for a second it would be.
Well, yeah, when we looked at, was it the Fangoria magazine yesterday from 81, it said Michael Crichton has just written a book called Congo, and it's going to be made into a film soon.
I've always got a soft spot for that when I think Total Film used to do a thing called Development's Hell, and it'd be like Freddy versus Jason, and it like didn't come out for another like 10 years or something.
So yeah, there's a song called Black Girls on here that's performed by Ray Dong Chong.
Yeah, that's the next to last track on there.
There you go. I don't know where it appears in the film, but yeah. And then I didn't appreciate the bashing of the Beach Boys in this film. That's another thing.
But even I forget how big the Beach Boys were, even though obviously I'd heard of them as a kid and they were a good band, but like I didn't just realise just how giant they were. And even that joke got copied in like Rush Hour, didn't it, and stuff like that. The way like, since off a Black Man CD and stuff.
Good job I didn't pay for Exorcist Believer. I wasn't so lucky with Halloween Ends. I was the same. I went to see Halloween Ends. I thought, how could they fuck this up? And then yes, David Gordon Green did both, of course. And now there is some hope with was it Flanagan's doing the next Exorcist?
Well, I feel like that David Gordon Green, I felt like he had a lot of goodwill, and like people were like, okay, remake this and do that, and then like it's like no.
Right. That's the film done. Let's get through this chat. Savage Street is so good. Yeah, you got Lena Quigley and Linda Blair's tits out.
I do like Savage Street.
And then, yeah, she's a total badass. I like the Universal movie Wolfman from the black and white days. Exactly. No one's saying they like the new Wolfman at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to go kill a load of bastards, but I'm going to have a little bath first. I will never ever watch Exorcist Believer. Well, no, I'm not going to do that one on this channel.
But it's funny, because I won't say it's spoiler because it's like a brand new film, but there was something in that Wolfman movie that I said to my friend before I went to see it. I said, I'll enjoy this movie as long as there's one thing that happens in it, and it didn't happen in it. I was like, how could that? Like I say, it's a massive spoiler, so I won't say. But I was just
okay,
really. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you'll like that. I think you'll like the monkey. I don't think you'll like the Wolfman.
Yeah, don't upset the chat, they're vicious bastards. But yes, Exorcist 1 though on my birthday in July. There you go. I don't know why I did that. It's the same age as me. But yeah, Savage Street is a perfect movie, pretty much. Yes, tits, violence, and lots of them. What did we do for IMDb? Apart from
it's nice that your birthday's in July, because my birthday's in July as well, so it's always got a soft spot for when I see people. I've said this before to loads and loads of people, but Tom Hanks' birthday is one day before mine, and it's not the same year. I'm always like, couldn't you just been born one day later? Then I could say, oh, I've got the same birthday.
Well, Bruce Lee died 3 days before I was born, so I'm. But yes, Alucard is replaying a lot of our old watch parties, so he's redoing the older. I don't know when it is. I think it's during the week, isn't it? Yeah, he's doing Kickboxer stream. I can't remember who I did who with what. So yeah, yes, he's got the old movie direction. I got that one. I got I got a bigger one, but it's easier to have that smaller one handy than it is the who's it? Richard Maitland? No.
It is normally Maitland. I think he's done a lot, but there's like I think sometimes you can't beat having just a book, even like say if it is slightly like it's not brand new, because it's usually got enough information in there to go off.
Nobody is watching Congo ever. Get over it. Fine, don't fucking watch it. See if I care. I'll enjoy it next time I watch it again.
Somebody just in the chat said, "Is Total Film still going?" It stopped. I think 2 months ago. I think I saw the last issue in Morrison's.
And then they do the websites, but they charge you for most of the stuff you want to read, and then it's mostly 90% bloody adverts flapping around the screen, isn't it? Right. So catch up on the chat while I leave the studio in that one. Right. Before IMDb, we had books, the biographical dictionary of film, Time Out Film Guide. Yes, I had that one. Weighty tomes. Yeah, if you got every film up to like 2000, you've got a thick book. It's TV Times, movies, A to Z. There you go. Halliwell's. That's the one I got as well. Halliwell's. Not mate. Well, maybe I got the other ones. I got a few of them upstairs. Top 1,000 on the book.
Well, anytime tell you about pre-internet that I didn't realise how like people like films are all like. That said, anytime I looked at Halliwell's film guide, anytime there's a film I really liked, it nearly always got a terrible review in.
Yes. Yeah, Halliwell did not like. He's a bit of a Barry Norman type. But yeah, this film, is it on DVD? I had to buy. Well, I think it was expensive on DVD. I don't think it's on Blu-ray. But there's an out of print DVD, and then it was cheaper for me to buy an X rental tape than it was get the DVD. Yeah, some films on YouTube are cut, some of them aren't. It's hard to tell unless you don't know the running time. But yeah, what's the point if they cut them with bar scene? I'm going for Steve. I'm going to take care. Andy, see you next time. Oh, shame. Yvonne's birthday is in September. Never mind. Leonard Maltin, that's it. Thank you. From Gremlins 2 fame. Take care. Oh, yes. Yeah. I used to be a regular. I used to buy Empire. I used to read it cover to cover. And then I stopped doing that. Oh, you've never seen Exorcist? Oh, here's a treat. Didn't Halliwell like Robocop? I'll have to check that out. I never watched. Yeah, I never read Dark Side or weird horror shit. But something like the friends. Did Halliwell's only give Halloween 1 star? I mean, maybe that's a live stream. Pick a film and we'll see how well it was received.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Robocop is in Halliwell's top 1,000, I can assure you. 1,000, that's a lot of films, though. Hats off to Big Savoy. Hey, there you go.
Thank you.
Smokey's here. Well, thank you for Dave turning up and doing research, which is more than these usual idiots I get on. So, half of them don't, 90% of them don't watch the film. So, yes, hats off to VT. Yay, I got one. Thank you, my Smokey. You're always welcome here. Right, Ian's off to track down a copy of Cobra again. And then we'll say bye-bye to Ramon and Michael Myers. And thanks to everyone who joined us. And Dave.
Yeah, Dave, cheers. Appreciate that. Everybody in the chat.
Right. Oh, yeah, see, there's the usual idiot. If he turns up at all. Have a good night, and you, or wherever you are. And we'll say...
Ladies, leave!